Hi, my loves. How are we doing? All right. I just want to have a conversation about something, and it does involve Mother Lilith in regards to your personal love life. Now, I was getting a lot of comments like this lovely one right here. I uploaded a video maybe a couple days ago, and it kind of blew up. I'm not going to lie. I appreciate every single one of you, but I was talking about, one thing about being devoted to Mother Lilith herself, especially if I'm talking to a woman in this case, like she's going to send you a man that literally worships the ground you walk on. And I was implying that I have found that so far. So I kind of just want to talk about it. And I've been getting, again, a lot of comments like this saying, like, what did you do to attract somebody into your life? Blah, 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 blah. And again, we're going to discuss. I know this part is going to be something a lot of you don't want to hear, but I think that if you are expecting me to say I did a spell or I petitioned this, I actually didn't. I done nothing. I have never, if for those of you who don't know me, hi, I am a tarot reader on this page. I'm also a divine feminine witch. If you guys don't know me, I've been devoted to Lilith now, pushing 3 years now. Okay. But yeah, I've done nothing to get this person. What has happened was she did tell me that somebody, was going to come into my life. And believe it or not, so far from what I'm seeing, it's simply because it's well deserved. Now, for me, and again, when I'm saying all this, this is my personal experience. Everybody's story, of course, is very, very much different. I have put in a lot of inner work in this past 3 years. Funny story for me with this person that, I've been seeing for a minute. I did not go looking for this man. As bad as it sounds, I didn't exactly want love. I had no interest in having a boyfriend, into finding a husband. If anybody knows me in my personal life right now, I am very preoccupied with myself and my business. Those two things are my babies. Those two things I've been nurturing now, pushing 3 years. I'm very heavily involved in my craft. I've been working, the reasons with Lilith for a long time, because unfortunately with my personal history, especially with men, I do have a tendency, I will push my whole life on the side to cater to my person at that particular time. And that's where I've been working again with Lilith about, getting through those anxious attachments, which is so funny because the more I have worked with Lilith, the more I have noticed my whole way I view love turned into an avoidant real quick. But what's interesting is, the person that is being sent your way, especially again if you are somebody that is devoted to Lilith. I'm talking a masculine, a man. Would not let you slip out of their fingers, will do anything and everything for you. And that is something Lilith teaches, especially again if you are a woman, that you do not let anybody into your vicinity or even give anybody an inch of your energy until somebody honors the ground you walk on, especially if you've been confiding to her for however long with traumas with men. Now, as far as, again, me not doing any spell work, by the end of the day, you got to think Lilith is a goddess. She is a demon. Some are like, talking about she could be an archangel. She is the embodiment of everything. You don't think Lilith knows what you truly want? You don't think she knows what kind of man you want, what you truly desire? She will never, one thing I have to make it clear, the only thing I will say, especially when it comes to your love life, she will never feed your ego. So as bad as it sounds, if you're still, for example, hung up on an ex or hung up on a certain situation, or if you're still in your healing, like true shadow work process, she's not going to send somebody your way. One thing is, I actually brought this up in my live the other night, energy's got to stick. You could be going through the depths of your shadow right now, but the perfect guy or the perfect person could come to your front door. Be honest with yourself. Would you be willing to fully accept that person into your life? And that is hard, especially for my devotees of Lilith. And let's be real, and I'm not saying this to bum anybody out or scare you, but if you choose a life path with Lilith, like I have, like many others have, you're going to be faced with more karmic relationships, way more than you are, as far as, I guess, tactful ones. Because as a daughter of Lilith, as a child of Lilith, you are constantly evolving. And the reality is, men, a lot of them will not keep up with you. And again, I'm not saying that to scare you or to push your idea away when it comes to love. But my point is, I think the reason this is shooting over to me in my personal life, because I'm not going to jump to conclusions saying I found this or I found that. No, but for one, I've completely detached from love. Like I said, when this person came into my life, I had no intentions of looking for anything. And also, I think a lot of it is, again, I have done a lot of inner work when it comes to myself. And when I say that, no, I'm not completely healed. I'll never be completely healed. None of us are ever going to be fully healed. But I guess the only way without, I guess, putting all my business out is I'm not in the same mindset I even was 6 months ago. That's the only thing I could tell you, my babies, for those that have made, comments like this lovely one and saying, like, how did you find love? How did you do this? The only thing I could tell you guys is, even when it does come, you are, as a daughter of Lilith, you are going to be evolving all the time. All the time. And she is not going to send anybody, whether you do a spell or not. She's not going to send anybody your way that's going to feed your ego, that's going to put you behind. And if it does, it is more meant to teach you a lesson. So the only thing, like I said, the biggest one I've dealt with this so far is, it's like a reward. That's maybe the word I want to use. It really is. And one thing to all my babies of Lilith, you put in the work in for yourself, you will always be rewarded. Whether it is with, she does send you someone to love you properly, or you all of a sudden, you get an influctuation, on your money and on your business. And I cannot explain to you guys, and I know this video may talk about the lovey-dovey parts, I guess, about working with Lilith, but I will say this, as much as I am talking, very basic, without, like I said, going into too much detail of how much work I have put in with Lilith, I have to say, out of all the deity work I have done over the last few years, again, I have built a lifelong path with Lilith. I have worked with her heavily, strongly for 3 years. It has been the most triggering and uncomfortable when it comes to facing myself. And I will say, it is hard. I would love to talk about facing shadow work with her. Like I said, I cannot tell you guys, in 2025 specifically for me, I literally, you want to know, I watched this movie the other day, and it made me think of my exact journey with Lilith. I always think of Spider-Man 3 when Peter Parker's like trying to rip that venom off of him, the suit, because he's too addicted. That's how my healing journey, I feel like the best way to describe it is, I'm just ripping everything from me. And, as far as all the icky stuff I don't want to deal with anymore, that's not a part of me, I feel like that's the best way to describe shadow work with Lilith, is you are forced to rip those layers apart. So I'm sorry, this video is not too much help for some of you guys. Like I said, I know maybe some of you were expecting like a tutorial or, of some form, but I think a lot of blessings from Lilith truly come from the inner work. I hope this helped, my babies.